Hey, good morning. So the time now is, well, not the time, the date is March 8th, 2021. Done trading, not the best day, only $72 today. After, I mean, yeah, it wasn't the best day in terms of executions and how I traded. But anyway, I'll just go over it. I'm not annoyed per se. I was kind of done with. I mean, I remember I said to myself, "I'm done," and I was $300 up, and I was like, "Okay, do you know what? This isn't going well. We're done. $3, 300 is fine." But then I took one more trade on Tesla, which should I say it was a gamble, or should I just say it was an idea that didn't work out and lost 228. So I'm not upset for losing 228. I'm upset because my first trade was not according to the plan, if that makes sense. So let's actually start off by going through what I intended or what I should have done and what was happening. And let's start off by looking at the SPY. Okay, so when the SPY opened this morning, oh come on. So I charted it this way, where I had this supply zone over here, and of course, when it got in there, it was very bullish initially. When it's actually, this is the open. So when it opened, everything was dropping, and then it reversed with a lot of momentum. Went into the supply area and rejected. And as it was rejecting, I was looking at Apple, and Apple and Tesla were the only ones I was looking at today. In a way, I had a bias for Tesla, and this is probably why I'm upset, but I shouldn't have had a bias. And Apple just kept dropping, got here, rejected this zone, and then dropped some more. And I decided to take Apple up from here. And I bought 50 contracts. And I think I was aiming, at least my first target should have been the VWAP. I bought 50 contracts. It was chopping around a bit, and I did not set a stop, at least a mental stop in my mind. I didn't have a P&L here, so I was a bit confused as to what I should do. As you can see, Apple is below the VWAP. Technically, I should be looking for shorting opportunities, or at least if it came to this zone and pegged it. But because it came to this area, I didn't really peg this area. I kind of thought, okay, it's probably going up. And then I was looking at Tesla at the time, and this is why patience pays. Tesla was really bullish compared to, oh my goodness, Tesla was bullish compared to where Apple was. And not so much my bias, because I don't want to use the word bias anymore, but my idea on Tesla was we had this wedge that had been forming, and it kind of broke through. And I thought, okay, if it's broken through, it's probably a good idea to take it long. But the thing that kind of held me back from going long on Tesla was just this area of supply. Of course, there was this sort of speculative area of supply as well that it hit. Essentially, this area was the same area that Tesla had hit in the past that caused it to drop on Friday. Of course, on Friday, I didn't trade. So we had this area, and you can see this area which formed, and price had not yet crossed that. So anyway, so price came in, challenged the area, and it failed. And what I've learned is whenever price tests an area at the open, at least you can see there's a double top, it failed. So this would have been a good short, but I decided not to take it short. Then it rallied up. Anyway, back to, so as I saw it rallying, Apple wasn't rallying, and the futures or the SPY wasn't rallying per se. So Tesla was very, very strong. And of course, Tesla has broken the high of, the high of day. So I thought, okay, so we have a, I'm just going to plot this here just to kind of see what happens. This would have been a good, if it breaks, it would have been a good short. All right, so I was back in Apple, and I didn't have control over the trade as I should have. So it was chopping around, got in with 50 contracts. And as it was coming down, I can't remember where it got to. I think it broke this, and I just got out. I was like, you know what? This isn't working. Screw it. Because I don't know how much I'm losing. Let's just get out. Got out, and I think I was down $200 at this point. So I was like, okay, fine. $200 is fine. This really is the stop. I didn't get in with the right size. Let's just forget about it. Then I saw this wedge and I was watching Tesla rallying. I was like, you know what, just get in. And that was the first mistake. Getting into the into the trade without a clear idea of what it is I was doing. I was kind of, FOMO trading. That was it, FOMO. So I jumped in on FOMO, took Apple all the way up. I brought my P&L up, and it was up about $700. I remember when we got to this level, and I was saying to myself, if it hits the VWAP, it's going to reject. So you probably want to get out. But I was like, no. I was down 200. I need to get out, and there's this area. So I don't know what's going to happen. So we were up about $700 on this trade. And ideally, maybe I should have gotten out. Then it started to come back down. And I was like, you know what? I'll just get out now. I started to sense some weakness. So I got out. And I think I made like $500 on the trade. So which is what brought me up to $300. Then Tesla. Why did I take Tesla long? And this is where having a bias is not a good idea, because I had a bias. So I plotted this trend line, and this is the thing. On the 1 minute chart, these trend lines are not really, I always forget, you should always plot them from pivots to pivots, not on the actual bars, because we're not scalping these bars. We're trying to do the swings. And that's where the first mistake that I made. So this trend line was wrong. It should have been here, at least here. So anyway, so I plotted here, got in here, and it was rising. I was looking at it and at the P&L at the time. I think it was going up to $72 or something. And I kept asking myself the question, okay, bro, you're in this trade. What do you expect to happen? The pattern doesn't look, this is what we call, I guess, the breakout mode pattern, right? Anyway, this is the 5 minute chart, so it's not really. So I was like, this pattern doesn't look like we are going to break this level. But if anything, we can retest this level. I was looking at it on the 5 minute chart, and I think that's when I realized that I think I made a mistake. On the 5 minute chart, the trend line that I had plotted was not broken on the downside. And at that point, I thought, this is probably not a good trade. One would argue that maybe I shouldn't be trading on the 1 minute chart, but I think I was doing that because, again, I was rushing. And now I think this is now the turning point, by the way. Yeah, I think this is a turning point, and this would have been a great entry for the stock. Anyway, so, excuse me. Yeah, this is what I should have waited for. And I'm going to correct this. This is what I should have waited for. There we go. As you can see, I think this is a better idea, because now I have more bars that I can sort of plan the trade on. But anyway, as you can see, I took it from here, went up there, was actually in profit, and then it went down, and I got out, I think, at the break of this level. I probably have gotten out earlier if I had just used this trend line here to just kind of use as a stop, but I didn't, because I was so convinced that, and that's the thing, conviction is never a good idea whenever you're trading. You should just trade what the chart is telling you and trade how the chart is. And as you can see, yeah, there we go. This idea would have worked better. Anyway, so the lesson for me today is patience. If you're going to get into a trade, everything needs to work out. Everything needs to look right. And I think for me, what's disappointing is that I was rushing a bit too much. And I took this trade a bit too prematurely. And I probably should have just waited a bit. Just maybe even, if anything, waited till when I plotted this line. This is where bar 18 would appear on the 5 minute chart, because it's at 11 o'clock you get this maybe a bit, I could actually adjust this, but around here you get the 18th bar. And at that point you can tell where you want to go. So this is another point to make a decision. All in all, as far as trading the open is concerned, what I probably could have done was taken the long from this point, particularly at this point, and targeted this level. And that's where I think I went wrong today, in terms of choosing what to trade. I chose Apple, and I chose it in the direction that it wasn't going in. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I mean, this here to here is a good trade. I just didn't believe in it and got in once and got out and got in again out of FOMO, which was a bad idea. Had I just stuck to the plan, it would have been a good trade. So the initial 300 was fine. The first trade was silly because that was without a good idea of what my stop was. So I shouldn't have taken that trade. The second one worked because it reached this point, but I, didn't know what I wanted to do, but this was a target. And my third trade on Tesla was a bad trade on FOMO, which, again, what was it now? What was I saying? Yeah, which was based on a very bad pivot. I drew a very bad pivot. So as you can see, like I said, this would have been a great entry, and I have seen it just now. And I feel very disappointed in the sense that, all I just need to do is just have a bit of patience, just a bit of patience. Now, one could ask, okay, so if I had gotten in here, where would my stop be? I would target this level here, at least this, let's just put this here. I would either target the break of this trend line, or I would target this level, the base of this candle, as a valid exit. I actually don't know if I would exit here because of how far price has traveled. If I was going to get in, I'll probably get in with 2 contracts. Get out of one here and hold the other one to see how far, and bring my stop to break even. And let's see how far this will go, because my final target is here, this level. And the reason why I'm choosing this level is because this is the last basing candle before this big, massive drop. And as you can see, there is this other area here as well, which is, in my opinion, is causing an area of supply, like a 1-minute supply. But then you also have some demand as well. So I would hold this until break even. It may hit my break even stop, at which point I would get out and just take that one contract long, and then, the gains from that one contract. All in all, it was it was an okay day for trading. I learned, again, patience plays and pays. These pivots do work. I always doubt them. And it's funny because every single time I have plotted them on every single day, they have worked really well. Yeah, but I never seem to feel convinced about them. To answer the question why that is the case, I think it's because there was a time when I took a trade and just kept on adding to the trade on those pivots, and the pivots were not holding. They were going against me, and as a result, I lost a lot on that trade. So ever since then, I've always had issues. Anyway, another thing again you would probably notice is, look at how many green. Actually, it's a bit difficult to tell where. This is almost a doji formation. It's hard to tell in which direction this stock is going to today, because here you have a few choppy areas, but everything is, this is very strong. This is very strong. So it's very, very difficult to get a sense of what's happening, which is fine if you have decided, okay, I'm going to follow it long or I'm going to follow it short. But again, yeah, I would have gotten out at this point. Again, kind of deciding on what to do is always difficult. Oh, actually, let me have a look at the 5-minute chart so I can get a good sense of what's happening. Actually, this is, okay, well, I don't know. I have no idea. All I do know is this was a very good area of supply because, as you can see, in the past, price dropped quite a bit. And I think, if anything, the plan should have been, well, we noticed the price dropped heavily over here. Why don't we take this short from here? We have a VWAP we can target. And of course, price even went further down. And it's doing the same thing again. Yeah, I think I just need to keep focusing on these now. All right, I'm going to go do something else. Yeah, the other final thing I'm going to say is it also helps that you can look and see on the futures chart as well that the price has rejected the same areas where these are rejecting. And this is always going to help you when you're trading. If this is rejecting all the supply areas, when these ones are getting to supply areas, that is even more confirmation to take the trade short. Of course, now I've plotted this area here, and this this wedge is holding. So I think what's happening is price is trying to get past this area of supply because we have a lot of room all the way up. And I think it will hurt. Obviously, having gone long around here, it will hurt a lot to kind of see at the end of the day, maybe Tesla would end up a lot higher. And, you know, that trade that I lost $228, you would feel, oh man, if I had held. But that's not what trading is about. Trading is not about what could have happened. It's about taking probability and taking chances on. I'm just gonna plot this here. It's about taking chances on, you know, ideas and having some sort of risk set. So I'm not disappointed in terms of risk management. I'm actually happy that I was able to, for the 3 trades that I took, I was able to manage the risk pretty well. If you notice, I never went below 250 per trade. But if that were the case, I should have just said to myself, yo, you know, manage this 250 here and take this short. If this was 250, let's actually work this out right now. I'm assuming we get in around here, and I would have gotten in on the 1 minute chart because it's difficult to do it quickly on Thinkorswim. Otherwise, yeah, we do have a wedge forming there. Oh, come on. All right. So if, say, for instance, we got in over here, this is our risk. In fact, let's just put this, it doesn't matter wherever the risk is. The point being that this is our level if the price comes above this area. So I'm just going to take $5 as a risk. And if $5 is my risk, that I normally like to risk 250 per trade. Or a maximum of 250. So if 250 is the maximum to trade, so that's going to 250 divided by 5. So that'll be 50 shares. So 1 contract would have been enough. And 1 contract down here would have given us the potential to VWAP, which would be our target. 50 shares, that would have been about $600-700, which is actually a really good trade. And of course, it went lower than that. So we could have gotten a really good amount from that. And the point being that this is a valid entry based on a valid idea. And then the next valid idea for me would be this, the break of this wedge. As you can see, the futures has broken its own wedge. Well, this is a weird wedge I've plotted. I'm hoping it breaks this level for me to take it as a valid entry. If it does break that and it doesn't, let's see what's going to happen because I'm looking at the volumes as well. I don't think we are. We just need some more volume to come in to break this level. Excuse the cough. I think it has broken it. There we go. Yeah, it's broken the level. Oops. I'm just gonna. Yeah, I think we've broken the level. Oh no, we're still there. Yep, we're about to. And I'm looking at Tesla as well. I'm seeing it's broken the chart, the wedge. That again is another valid setup because now we have, if this is the wedge, we can always take this area as our risk. Maybe, I don't know. I was going to say $5 could be another risk level. I'll probably risk a bit more than that, maybe about $300 on this one. Yeah, because there's a lot of, but yeah, it looks like we're having a double top. Okay, yeah, we have broken it. Yeah, we've broken it already. So that for me is convincing enough for me to get in here. Unfortunately, that was not to be today. So we'll come back again tomorrow. We'll have a bit more, we'll have a bit more time. Today we didn't have as much time because I've got to go work on something else. But we'll have a bit more time. And then hopefully we'll be able to do more with it. Let's actually go look at Apple before we go. Because I think Apple is at that area of demand, which I had plotted. And you can see it's giving you an inverse, inverse head and shoulders. So you have 1, 2, 3. This is a very, very, very good entry. And it validates this zone. And where would I target? Really good point. Because now I don't really have a really good risk reward on this one. I don't know. This one is very difficult to actually take a trade on because I don't have a target. I see there's a channel, a trend here, and then we can form a channel so we can trade the channel and we can get out at the break of the channel. But this is very strong, so Apple could be strong for that. What else were we looking at? We're looking at everything else is kind of rejected at the right places. Etsy I was looking at initially. Excuse me. No, Etsy it's not. Yeah, it's rejected this all the way to. This would have been good actually. This is rejected it all the way to the view app, which is what we want. We want to take a trade that comes down from here down to here. I did not put Snap. Actually, Snap was another one. Let's see, Snap I think I charted as well. Yep, Snap was even the best one because it opened strong. And look at this drop. This is beautiful. Like, just tagged it to a T and then it came down to this resistance here that I plotted. So this would have also been a really good one. And Tesla's broken that wedge and is doing it with a lot of conviction. Again, patience. Patience. I'm looking at Tesla on the 5-minute on another screen, but patience. You really just need to have patience whenever you're trading, and you will actually succeed. I think in my own case here, I was just rushing, and this happened on Monday last week. And albeit then I lost some money. This time I'm just gonna take the money that I made and just leave it. But the lesson I've learned today is patience. If you don't have the setup at the open, wait for a wedge. Wait for a pattern to form. I actually don't think this wedge was valid, to be honest. Only because, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that's my trading day today. I'm gonna let it go and. Yeah, we're gonna be a lot more prepared for tomorrow. All right.